talking about sit-ups and how if you start from a neutral position or an already shortened position and just continually shorten your rectus abdominis here, you're going to cause shortening in other places as well, because it's all connected by muscle and fascia. So your abs are connected to your chest, and your abs are also connected to your inner thigh muscles and your hip flexors, and it goes all the way up and down the chain. So if it's going to be tight here, it's going to be tight here, it's going to be tight here. So it's going to pull you into this position. Now the sit-up is probably one of the more popular exercises in the gym, perhaps because people have problems with having a big gut or a big belly, and they think that's going to help. Of course, you can't spot reduce fat anyway, so it's kind of a useless thing to do anyway. But you also, by isolating, you're going to cause more problems than you solve. So what we're looking to do is integrate. Another very popular exercise in the gym is a bench press. So you can see people doing this either just sitting down, doing a bench press. You can say, I guess a bench press is similar to a push-up as well. So push-ups are kind of like a bench press, but kind of inverted the other way. And then obviously lying back on a bench press. Now, this causes many of the same problems that the sit-up causes. So you've just really got to think about how the body functions in not so much everyday life, because our everyday lives are very, very different from our ancestors. So for most of our evolutionary history, would have been hunter-gatherers and would have functioned in a very different way. So you've got to think how the pecs particularly, so what we're doing when we're doing a bench press is focusing on the pec muscles. I don't like the focus on specific muscles. I want to focus on the body as a system, as a whole integrated unit. But for the sake of argument here, let's focus on the pec muscles and see how they would function properly in everyday life. So you think the most normal thing we do is would be walking and running. That's how we have evolved to move. Much like a kangaroo hops or a fish swims or a bird flies, we walk and run. And we walk and run by going contralaterally. I've said this in other videos as well. So as the right arm comes forward, the left leg comes forward, and vice versa. We go there. We have a little bit of rotation up here, and then your legs move in the sagittal plane like this. There shouldn't be much rotation unless you're moving in 3 dimensions. But if we're just running straight forward, legs move in the sagittal plane, upper body rotates slightly as the arms also move in the sagittal plane here, but the torso rotates. Now think of other forms of force production. So the way we fight, we use our fists and we punch like this. We may also throw something. You think hunting, we're throwing a spear or a rock or something like that. So mainly force production, particularly in the upper body for humans, requires this contralateral movement. We use force this way. We don't punch someone like this. Even if we use 2 hands, we're going to punch like that, kind of like a Bruce Lee style punch. So there's always going to be rotation here. So your pecs can't lengthen properly. What I'm talking about in the other videos where you lengthen, contract. Your pecs can't load properly unless they go through this movement. So think about a punch. We're going to load the pecs here, create some elastic potential energy, and then release it. Same with throwing. We're going to load the pecs, then release that elastic potential energy. And so instead of a bench press, we've got to think of some other ways of doing this. And basically we're going to use the kind of traditional way of doing things, which is a punch. And you can use a cable machine, or even just simply things like these rubber bands. So these exercise bands here, I've got one attached to the wall here, and we can use this as a punch like that instead of the bench press. You'll see many other exercises on my other videos here. They exercise, and this is not a pec exercise, this is an exercise for the whole body, because as we're punching using this exercise band, I'm actually going to step forward at the same time. Even if I don't step forward, if I'm maintaining a good postural position, I'm still using my whole body to make this movement. I'm not focusing on one area. Now push-up, for example, doesn't focus on that one area, but there isn't enough focus on the lengthening part of the exercise. There's no real lengthening in a push-up. There's no lengthening of muscle and fascial tissue in traditional bench presses or anything like that. Again, I'm not saying that they're a bad exercise. They can be very beneficial for people, especially older people, to build muscle strength, bone density, things like that. But as far as functionality goes, and if you have any chronic postural issues or chronic pain, I think then we need to start thinking in the general fitness industry slightly more of how to function more efficiently and improve performance, because performance and injury prevention are pretty much the same thing. The more efficiently you move, the less pressure you're going to place on your joints, and the better your posture is going to be. And yeah, we can change posture. It's very difficult, but we can certainly work on not making it worse by overdoing some of the traditional exercises, which are, I think, looking a bit dated these days.